Good afternoon, East Texas. I'm Brett, and welcome to my backyard. It's been a little bit since I've been on here, but I'm back now. Hadn't been much to report lately. It's just been hot and dry. We basically could have set that schedule on autopilot here in East Texas the last 2 months. I think it's been over 2 months since we've received any rain. But as you can see, we actually have some clouds in the sky behind me. The sun is poking its head back out. It's bright again, but temperature's a lot cooler than it has been. It's only in the upper 90s today. So might need to get the jacket out later. Hopefully these clouds are going to be bringing us some rain soon. We desperately need it around here. Our vegetable gardens have been struggling. Been lots of grass fires in the area because it's just, like I said, hot and dry. With it still being the middle part of August, I think we're still going to have a little bit of that to deal with the rest of the year. And so that's why I wanted to make a quick video today to show you a couple things that we're doing trying to combat that. This time of year, we usually get a little rain. It's usually hot and dry, but it's not sustained drought like we have been through this year. It's been a crazy year for weather. Colder than normal to start the year and later than normal. So those of us that try to plant real early, get something going, we lost some of our early crops to that. And then it was later getting the planting going. We did have quite a nice spring this year, but you do have to get the temperatures up a little bit for a lot of these plants, like tomatoes and peppers, to really start producing. And so by the time we did actually get into the good growing weather, all of our garden was starting to look real nice around here. We have received no rain, so we have been in a survival mode since then, just trying to keep some of our garden alive. It's about all I can say about that. So some of it, like tomatoes behind me, I'll show you a little bit of them here in just a minute. But that's the biggest thing right now. Have no fear. It will eventually cool off a little bit. The rains will come back. Hopefully that's it coming in today. And it will start growing again. So if we can just keep some of this garden going at the moment, maybe we'll still be able to get some crops before the end of the year to munch on. And if you haven't, it's still okay here in East Texas. I'm here in Zone 8A. We can still get a few things out. Start getting prepared for our fall and winter crops. Right now, they may have to be started inside or started under some shade cloth. Some things to help the little seedlings go. I've had some little seedlings that I've tried to move out of my shed because they haven't been growing much, and this sun has just been a killer to most of them. Like I said, so it's just a struggle trying to keep things going. And so one of the things I wanted to show you I've been doing the last few years here is trying to collect and conserve any water we can. It's a better water source if we can get it from the sky anytime. Our tomatoes behind me and my chickens here in front of me, they do prefer that. If we're not lucky enough to have some of that good natural rainwater, one thing we can do is with our tap water, if we have a place that we can store it for 3 or 4 days, that helps dissipate some of the chlorine and stuff in the water. Makes it a lot more palatable, especially to the chickens and the very young plants overall. So I'm going to show you one thing that I've used this year. Some of y'all may have one of these here. I have to back up a little bit here. This is just a rain barrel. It's basically like a large trash can. You can get these at a lot of your farm stores or your hardware stores. If they don't have a setup like this, you can make one of these out of just a regular trash can, because this holds, see the size of it. It's about the size of one of them big plastic barrels, so approximately 50 gallons there. It's a good supply of water. And this one here I've been using to water the chickens with, because they've been drinking at least a gallon a day, and now with moving the medium-sized chicks out here, they're probably up 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons a day. And so this has a good supply at least a couple of weeks. Now, one good thing, if you're able to find one of these at your hardware store, is you'll see an inlet coming in on the right hand side of the screen, and also one coming from the top. Some people like to connect these up to a rain gutter, and that's a good way to concentrate and get them filled up if you're lucky enough to be able to do that. This one does have a top here. See, you can see it attached there, and that does collect any rain we might get coming out of the sky and put it down into there. And then one thing it has is you'll see a water nozzle coming off on the left hand side here, and I really like this for my chickens because I'm able to just come out here in the afternoon, flip a simple switch like this, and I've got a short hose run down in there, and if it's almost there, it takes less than a minute, and I've got those chickens watered. Just a gravity feed. And so this is a good option. Like I said, there's lots of options, but anything like this that you can use to collect some of that rainwater, wherever you may get it from, can help you get through these drought months a little bit easier. Whether it's just a bucket on the ground, or I have some of them what they call IBC containers, big 300-gallon containers. Anything in there that you can collect some water in to help you make it, your plants and your chickens will much appreciate that. And so I will show you today, like I said, a lot of that garden we were looking at earlier in the year, we've lost to this drought. It's been hard to keep them going. This little section here, these tomatoes are thriving. And if y'all watched some of the last videos I'd put out, this is in that section that I was working on this year, getting this planter going. You see how I got the metal finally in around the edges, and I just made this a little better planting area for the tomatoes this year. Put up some simple 2x2s here for some of my indeterminate tomatoes to grow on up, and they're getting quite large. Let's see, you can see the tops of them here. I'm 6'1", and I got a couple of them that are just taller than me. So these indeterminate tomatoes are getting on up there, and some of them will get much larger than that. So if they want to this fall, come up, go up onto this structure, well, that's all the better. We'll just pick the tomatoes overhead if we have to. Now, one thing I want to show you about these tomatoes, like I said, we've been lucky enough, we've been able to keep this bed here alive. It hasn't produced much in a while. The drought has been just so much too hot. A lot of your tomatoes, once you hit about 95 degrees, it'll start trying to just drop the blooms off of it. And if you do get a bloom, the likelihood of getting a tomato, very small. But the last week or so, we're starting to get some action again. Look at that. I believe this is one of my beefsteak varieties here. So we got a couple coming in, and then let's see, over here we got another little one there. So we might be finally about to get something in return on these tomato plants again. But one thing it might be a bit of a misnomer is about your watering that you do on your tomato plants. Some people will tell you never water at night. You only water in the morning, and you want to water in the morning as early as possible to get it soaked in, and you never want to water in the middle of the day. And these are some good pointers, and that's probably best case scenario. But I tell you, if you're in a drought condition like we are now, any water during the day on your plant is better than no water. If you can get it overnight where it can soak in overnight, and then plants have a chance to soak up that moisture to be ready to survive this heat the next day, is good. Early in the morning is best. That way it'll suck it up, and then the ground does have a chance to kind of dry out during the day. This will help prevent some of your molds and funguses and things down there. It does help in that a little bit. But like an old farmer was telling one time, that, you know, you got crops out here in the fields, and it does rain in the middle of the summer, and that doesn't kill it. In fact, right now we'd much appreciate that good hot summer day rain. And so if the middle of the day is the only time we can water our plants, then I suggest you do it. Now, with our tomatoes and stuff, it is better to keep it down low, get it just around the roots down there. Try not to splash it up on the limbs as much as possible. And that's not a steaming action, it's more of a fungal spread remedy for your tomatoes, because sometimes if you've got something that's bad on the plant and it starts dripping down, it can affect the leaves down below it there. And then also, if you're getting it all up here on this, you're not getting it where you're needed. The roots are where it really needs the water down there. But even these that we've been trying to take very good care of, you can see they look nice and bushy, very green. But we've got some of them, let me see, you may be experiencing some stuff that looks kind of like this. You see how these leaves here are turning upwards? And this is a good example here. You see this one, it looks like it's almost rolling itself up like a burrito there. And this, I believe the technical name for it is a physiological leaf roll. But what your plant is doing here, this is a good sign to look out for, is your plant is trying to conserve the moisture that it has. It's curling so that there's less surface area exposed to the sun, trying not to evaporate as much water as possible out of the plant. Now, this doesn't hurt them, this leaf roll. If it's a fungal leaf roll, which usually you'll see spots and withering on them, if that's the case, that could be a problem, and you may want to remove the whole plant. But this, you'll notice they're nice and green still. It's just trying to conserve some of the water. And whenever it starts to cool off, there was a lot more of these rolled up earlier today. It's actually, like I said, it's cooled off into the upper 90s now. They will unroll, and you'll see like these leaves here, nice and smooth, looking very good. So that's just a little tip I wanted to put with y'all today. I hope that helped you out on your tomatoes. Another thing down here, I need to get to cleaning up some. If you get down here at the base plant, like I said, we want to try to keep the splash off the bottom as much as we can. And so we want to make sure to keep them trimmed up. Some of them lower leaves down there, if we can, that'll just help the plant out a bit. Because if they're laying in the dirt, all they're going to do is be trying to contract some of that disease that's down there. We want to avoid that as much as possible, so that hopefully these plants will stay healthy. And if we get some of this rain, or if we get a cooler temperature soon, maybe we'll be enjoying tomatoes once again. So, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that video today. I'm going to try to get back into posting some more of them very soon. Thank y'all. If y'all have any questions, or y'all know how to pronounce that word a little better than I do, you just leave that comment down below, and we'll catch y'all next time.